In this reaction, I made a mini pancake. This is an endothermic reaction because heat from the surroundings of the system, which would be the flame underneath the pan, was going into the system, which is the reaction itself where the pancake is being made. So the heat is required to propel the reaction forward and thus make the pancake. And of course, I had to give my mini pancake to my puppy. In this reaction, I combined hydrogen peroxide and active yeast in an exothermic reaction. This reaction is exothermic because heat was generated during the reaction and released into the surroundings. Before the reaction, both the yeast and the hydrogen peroxide were at room temperature, but after the reaction, the mixture had increased in temperature to about 25 degrees Celsius. Now I'm going to be showing how to do specific heat capacity problem number 3. The question says, copper has a specific heat of 0.385 joules per grams times degrees Celsius. A piece of copper absorbs 5,000 joules of energy and undergoes a temperature change from 120 degrees Celsius to 200 degrees Celsius. What is the mass of the piece of copper? So first I'm going to write down all of our variables. So our specific heat capacity is equal to 0.385 joules per grams times degrees Celsius. Our Q value, or our heat capacity, is 5,000 joules. Our change in temperature was from 120 degrees Celsius to 200 degrees Celsius, which is a change of 80 degrees. And we're trying to find our M value, or our mass. So now I'm going to rearrange the equation. The original equation says Q is equal to the specific heat times the mass times the change in temperature, but we're solving for the mass. So I'm going to divide both sides of the equation by the specific heat times the change in temperature. This will give us mass is equal to the heat divided by the specific heat times the change in temperature. When you plug in your values, you get mass is equal to 5,000 joules divided by 0.385 joules divided by grams times degrees Celsius times the change in heat, which is 80 degrees Celsius. When you plug this into your calculator, you should get the mass is equal to 160 grams of copper.